Donnie. Rip apartment for Donnie. Go for Donnie.
Or go for Donnie.
Go for Donnie.
Bobby for Donnie. Bobby for Donnie. Go for Donnie.
Hey everybody, welcome to Go for Donnie. I'm your host Donnie, and that right there is Bobby Silva. Bobby, what's up?
Aloha guys, how's it going? Calling in from beautiful sunny Hawaii.
Aloha, that's right, my bad. So Bobby and I go way back to the grind, years in production, early call times, walkie screaming, schedules collapsing, producers pretending everything was fine while the building was metaphorically on fire, you know, that television thing. But since Bobby spent years working in casting and talent, which means he's seen Hollywood from a completely different perspective than most people. And trust me, casting directors, they see everything. But this episode has an interesting twist because Bobby is now stepping into an entirely different arena, politics. I mean, talk about a pivot, right? He's currently running for Hawaii State Senate District 25 with a campaign focused on transparency, accountability, community, and local leadership. So today, we're getting both sides from Bobby, the Hollywood chaos and the real world stakes. Bobby, welcome to fucking Go for Donnie. That was a long intro. Sorry, man. I mean,
I love it, man. It was great. I reach for my mic on my shirt because it's usually I was like, oh yeah, I constantly have it there, man. I was thinking about having a headset on and just living life through a headset is such a part of production. You forget when you're not wearing one constantly.
Isn't that? It's so weird. So just so everybody really knows how Bobby and I know each other, we go way back. Now, we did work with each other. Do you remember what shows we worked on?
Oh,
did you do some Top Gear with us?
I did. I think I did a little bit of Top Gear. I think we did. Didn't we do that one weird? It wasn't a Pickers, but it was like an Antiques Roadshow-esque kind of thing.
That's right, down in Orange County.
Yeah, and I got to sleep in the trailer overnight because I didn't want to drive back to Venice.
That's right. Wheeling and Dealing. I forget that name. That's right. So anyways, but before production, I played soccer with a mutual friend, Dave Barnes, that was a roommate of Bobby's at Electric Avenue.
Electric Avenue, one of many.
Amazing. And so I went to a party there at Electric and I'm like, this is a cool place. Like, what the hell? And then Dave moves out. And then, I don't know how much longer later, Mikey Schneier moves in. And then Mikey and I started working together in production. And then I went to your place for another party. And I'm like, I've been here before. I know this place. Yeah. And then after that, it's history and we've been there so many times and then worked together throughout the years. So that's how we know each other. And then now, Bobby, you, as of late, you kind of transitioned into casting and most of the bulk of your career was in casting, right?
Yeah, it has been in casting. I mean, like, I started as an actor and a stuntman.
That's right.
Which everybody wants to do in the industry. Transitioned into a producer, and then I want to say I fell into casting in a very beautiful way because it really is working in production as a producer.
Yep.
But it is a 9 to 5. It's not on set at 6 a.m. out at 6 p.m. I mean, it's an actual job where I get to flex my mental muscles and story build. And not put in the physicality that is a young man's game as a producer. So I've been in the casting world for almost 20 years now. I want to say actually more like 15. I think 2009 is when I fully became I started producing my first thing. So
that's so cool. Yeah, I remember when you did go into casting. You're perfect. You were perfect for casting. I mean, that was your lane that you were so good at, and talking to people, and you're a real people person. Yeah. And I guess that kind of transitions into your political ambitions. You're good with people. You're good at talking to people.
Yeah. My wife always likes to say you can talk to anybody, and jokingly so. Now that I'm actually running for a state office, anybody I talk to, the first words out of my mouth are, "Do you live in my district? Where do you live?" And I'm talking to random people. I'm like, the lady that's checking me out at Target. I'm like, you might be voting for me. Let's say hi. And it's
that's great.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not like even a no fear thing. It's more of just a confidence in being able to communicate kind of thing. So, and in casting, you have to be able to do that and literally ask anybody if they want to be on a crazy reality competition show and win $1 million. So
you were very family oriented, even though you moved across the water to California. You built your family of friends, and you would bring everyone together a lot. Yeah. So you were really good at bringing people together, and believing in family and just goodness. So it's
Yeah.
so cool to see you taking this on.
You talked about Electric Avenue, and just if you guys want to know, Electric Avenue is a real place. It's a street in Venice, right off Abbot Kinney. Our address was 1322 Electric Avenue. But my wife was the last roommate, and she was the 20th roommate from when I moved in there and actually moved out. So all those 20 people and their encore friends became a family, and the entire time I lived there, it just became part of the sense of who I was in my Los Angeles journey, and every single person I knew and touched, had just become friends for life. So
Yeah, no, it was really cool. It was a fun time. I mean, we had a lot of good memories from then. So,
parties on the roof, man.
but hey, we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're talking about shenanigans, behind the scenes, crazy shit that you may have seen. I mean, in casting, I know my experience with casting. So I worked at MTV Networks years ago, and I started working at the front desk. So I answered phone at the front desk. And so they always had random castings. And so at MTV Networks, we had Nickelodeon, we had Spike TV, we had MTV, we had VH1. So we had all these different channels. And so on the one given day, you might have casting for Nickelodeon as well as Spike TV. And Spike TV back then was all men channel. And so you have these scantily clad women, auditioning for for Wild and Out for MTV, and then you got some mom with some kids sitting on the couch there because they're doing some casting for Nickelodeon. It was so crazy, to see that living together, in one room.
Yeah. I feel like the world of casting is amazing, especially in the progression of how TV shows are now made and what their content is. But I've done it all. I've done baking. I've done dating. I've done adventure racing. We recently did The Golden Ticket, which is a Willy Wonka competition show coming out for Netflix. I mean, it's a whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah. 3 seasons of Squid Game. You want to go on a show where they kill you and try to win $4.5 million? I'm the guy that gets you on that show. But every single thing has a different kind of orientation. So when you say I see different things, every single type of project I work on has something different working into it. So
how does that happen in casting? Because I know you get like typecast. Let's say you get typecast or something. You're that guy. You're that cooking, culinary. That's your lane, and it's hard to get out of the lane. How does casting? I guess it doesn't matter. Casting's okay because it seems like you're all over the place with casting, where any other producer would be like typecast to that type of role.
I feel very lucky to have worked early on in my career with so many different companies and projects that has really made me like a Swiss Army knife when it comes to the casting world.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've done it all, but I think, also you said what's going to make me a great politician is I can talk to anybody and I can get them to understand what the project is, that they're interested in the project, and B, like, hey, we're going to do a half-hour Zoom interview, and I need you to tell me your deepest, darkest secrets about, the time you messed up a flambe, or when you were doing a full ultra marathon and had to crap your pants and keep running. And, it's like, it's those kind of small things that my brain really works well as, when I say I'm a story builder, I love, in fact, talking to somebody, figuring out who that person is, what their character and their story is, and then turning around and being able to cast them in a specific role for a specific show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have any crazy casting, like, did you know, like within like a few, like not even 10 seconds, either if they were really good or if they're like really like, the Hong guy, from American Idol.
Oh gosh. I know. Yeah. It's funny. I can usually tell right off the bat first and foremost, part of my job as a casting producer is, do you have good energy? If you and I are talking on a Zoom and you're flat, when you get on the show, you're going to be that way as well. But if you and I are talking on Zoom and you're super excited and you're able to tell me funny stories that are answering my questions, I'm going to know that. But when it comes to like, finding those people, it's not a 1 in a million shot, but it is very good judgment, because a lot of times people, when we do dating shows, we jokingly tell people, hey, don't be nervous. In fact, maybe take a shot of tequila before you get on, so
Loosen up a little.
I have people show up slosh sometimes, and I'm like, can I ask how much you've drank? And the guy holds up like an empty bottle. Yeah, dude, I'm doing this. And I think it was we were casting, I think it was a season for Married at First Sight once. And this guy was in his hotel room bouncing around, right? And I'm like, dude, are you on something? And he kept ducking out of the camera and ducking back in. What he didn't know was behind him was a mirror reflecting on the mirror, and I could see his silhouette literally going down and banging lines of coke and coming back up.
Oh my
And
God.
I had my editor zoom in on the actual thing so we could see that. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's
That's
probably not going to
fucking
pass
hilarious.
his medical drug test, but
Dude, actually, maybe it would be a good casting to see them how they handle their alcohol, because 9 out of 10 shows it's all about
oh
drinking and getting
yes,
them to drink, so the drama ensues,
yep.
and are they
I
really
did
psycho or?
no, I did 2 seasons of a show called Party Down South,
Oh,
which was a blast.
Jesus.
It was the southern version of Jersey Shore. It was one of CMT's newest, biggest hits back in like 2012.
Oh,
But just take Jersey Shore and set it in like North Carolina. But those interviews were hilarious because like we had people chugging beers and doing stuff, and it was just like, all right, you guys gonna play this off, Um,
any propositions, any kind of bribery, any
no, never. But and you know what? I wanted to say something that I've always been proud. Like when I work on a show, as a producer, I get paid a great amount of money for 12 to 18 to 20 weeks of work to go and develop and produce and create a cast. And I've always been and my cast wins shows. Like I always look at the winners of specific shows and I'm like, I cast that person.
nice.
And nobody's ever like showed up at my door and been like, hey, guess what? I won $1 million in this show. So here's a $10,000 handshake. That's never happened to me. And I'm like, it is kind of funny in this industry and this stuff. I always tell people, like, if you're paying for something to get cast on a competition show, you shouldn't be doing it. So
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, people are crazy, man. Some people will do anything to get their, 2 minutes of fame. I
yeah,
mean, I did. I just don't understand some of these shows. I did a couple of seasons of Farmer Wants a Wife, and the women are all just they're not they're not there for the real reason. Yet the
yep.
Farmer Wants a Wife that actually was created in Australia, in that version, there's actually women looking for love, and they're actually farmers looking for love, and they're actually looking for like a farmhand love, and it's actually they're looking for marriage, not for just
Some
2 minutes of
some dude
fame.
that's
You
can
know,
put some hard work into it, right?
yeah, it's so bizarre, but that's casting. So
Yeah.
okay, so no bribery, no shenanigans like that. Any
No, but I can say that the relationships I create with people that I do cast always are special to me because whether they make it on a show or not, to be able to talk to somebody for half an hour on a Zoom and really kind of delve into who they are. I'm not a fucking therapist. My wife has her master's degree and she's a social worker and she's more apt to be able to talk to people about their feelings and stuff. But I literally have therapy sessions with people sometimes. So
you have to
for
get
me,
intimate
it's
really quick.
yeah. So for me, it is building that relationship and like, being able to tell their story. That's one of the greatest things for me. But then also hearing a bunch of really weird fucking stories and things that happen to people like during casting. I had a funny story for you. I was thinking about this last night. One of the weirdest things happened to me in casting. Um, First season of Love is Blind, which I was nominated for an Emmy for. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Well done.
That's just really, but
Well
we,
done.
finding the men is a lot harder than finding the women for any kind of dating show. And I had this one gentleman I interviewed, really good looking black guy. He was in his 40s. Like he's the guy that you see when he's walking on the beach on the slow-mo shots with the 8-pack that's ripped. And you're like, okay, and Netflix wanted that sexy looking guy. And we had this guy and he had a great job and he was really into it. Did his interview, pitched him to the network. They loved him. We're getting ready to move further. And then he just ghosts. He disappears.
Wow.
So and they're coming to me because I'm his producer and I have to, really kind of find out what happened. So I start tracking down and literally like calling and doing stuff. And I literally start digging into like his social media. And I find this woman that's a friend of his on Facebook and I'm sending her messages. I'm like, hey, I've been in touch with so-and-so and he's made it really far in this show that we're producing. And I'm trying to get a hold of him. Have you heard from it at all? And this woman responds back to me and she goes, oh, he passed away
What?
a week ago. I had a heart attack. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like,
Holy crap.
yeah. And so like that happened. And then as I'm talking to this woman, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm actually his fiance. And I'm like, did you say you're his fiance? I'm casting him for a a dating show where he's supposed to get engaged to somebody he's never met. And she's like, "What show is this?" And it's the first season of Love Is Blind. Nobody had any idea what it was
Oh,
about. So I'm like
wow.
trying to explain the concept to this woman for her fiance that was going to go on this show, and I'm like, one of the weirdest shit that's happened to me in casting. I'm like, somebody's actually passed away on me. Actually, I've had it happen twice. Some other guy had a heroin overdose, and I talked to his mom a couple days after his interview, and I'm like, oh my god,
Jesus.
yeah,
Holy cow. All right.
yeah. So weird
Wow.
shit.
That's some strange shit. Well, guys, I want everyone to stay tuned for Switch to Channel 2. Bobby, Switch to Channel 2 is next, and that's where we're going to get to know Bobby a little bit better. He's going to talk about his political ambitions just a little more. I have some fun questions to ask you, but that's coming up next on at Go for Donnie, my YouTube channel. Oh, and I have to tell everyone that this is not just an audio podcast. This is also a video podcast. So you're probably watching this on YouTube right now on my YouTube channel at Go for Donnie, or you can watch it anywhere, Bobby. Or I'm sorry, you can listen to it anywhere on Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the rest, and then my website gofordonnie.com. Check it out. Come leave me a message, say hello, buy some swag if you want. I got some nice, fun things here. Sorry, I had a little shameless plug. So back to fun, stupid casting stories. I mean, casting is just such a different beast, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it it's the scope of what we do now. I've I want to say the majority of my career is casting ensemble casts of 10 to 12 people. I recently wrapped up the third season of Squid Game: The Challenge, and we
jeez,
had to cast 456
holy shitballs!
A plus personalities. Every single person you watch on that show, whether they're out in the first 2 seconds or not, has amazing stories. They're all like, top of the line, good energy, and that
Wow.
is. I mean, when we did the first season, it was a milestone. I want to say in um, reality competition series.
Yeah,
It
no.
was the biggest grand prize at 4.56 million. It was the biggest cast. Netflix heralded us. They took from Squid Game and they said, we are going to make an actual live version of that where everybody's squibbed. And when you die, it goes, you fake die and stuff. But for them to turn to us and say, we need you to cast this. And I'm like, cool, let's wait, 12, not 12 people?
What'd you just say? 400?
450 what? Like the actual show? Like fuck yeah, they did that. And so I worked on 5 months for that, which is amazing to me. That every time I get to do this show, it's pretty much half my year of
So
work.
that's five months of casting. How big is the casting department? Like,
We got 3 full teams. We have a West Coast team, we have an East Coast team, and then we also have a UK team. And I want to say each one of those teams has anywhere from 4 to 5 producers, 4 APs, casting manager, casting editors. I mean, there's a lot that goes into creating that cast, which also makes it so well. Um, second Emmy nomination was from that. Second and third,
that's
actually, it
awesome.
was as well. So
But
yeah,
people don't they don't understand what it takes to go into the finished product that they get to just look and click and go watch.
yeah,
There's so much that goes into it, and they don't understand.
yeah. And casting is the redheaded stepchild of the entertainment industry. You watch a movie with Henry Cavill
Yep.
in it. You're like, cool, I'm watching Henry Cavill. I want to see this movie. But then you don't realize that all the other actors in there were cast. When you're watching a television show, so another one of my Netflix ones that's out right now is called $1 Million Secret. And I absolutely love that show because my cast made the show amazing. But people don't think finding each one of those characters and making them be able to play a social strategy game at high levels for high amounts of money.
It's
It's
not.
not just like, oh, this girl's good looking. Let's find a 6 foot tall blonde from Arizona and stick her in there. Like no, like she's got to be able to have a backstory and stuff. And that is primarily what's part of my job. And nobody really ever goes, the casting for this was amazing. They did a lot of hard work. They're like, no, this show was great. Oh my
No.
god, the drama was amazing. Oh my god,
Yeah.
the action. So
Yeah.
it is very much the unsung hero of a lot of things that you watch and retain as entertainment. So
Okay, so what do you think the funniest Hollywood illusion do you think that people believe about this business that couldn't be further from the truth? I mean, everyone thinks
uh,
it's so glamorous,
yeah,
and it couldn't be farther from.
No, I think it all comes down to money, man. I tell people I'm a television producer before running for Senate, and they're like, "Oh, you must be rich." I'm like, no, I still drive. I don't know if you remember my Jeep, dude. I still
Oh
drive
yeah, that's
my
right. You took that over
1997
there.
Jeep Wrangler. Yep. In fact, here I'm gonna give you a quick spin. I don't know if you can see it through the front door. It's still hanging out there.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
No, I bought that thing in California, and I'm like, it is coming with me to Hawaii because it was always meant to be in Hawaii. So,
That's funny, dude. I love
but
that.
yeah, people think that I mean, I don't like to talk money and salaries and what I make, but I mean, one of the aspects of being a freelance producer is I get paid for specific projects. I don't make equity on the show when it's aired, and
Yeah,
like
no.
I have no back end. It's not like I'm an actor and I get residual checks from a show I produced 5 years ago. So it is a hustle. It is a hustle. It is a day to day. Unfortunately, in this day and age, a lot of people are not being able to work, and it is a reality of 2026 as well. So
Do you feel that in Hawaii that any production that was going on there has dropped?
Hawaii is a very different thing as well. I was extremely fortunate, and I attribute to the 20 years I spent in Los Angeles hustling and building my career and building all of those relationships, to the fact of when the pandemic hit and my job went completely remote. Uh, you know, I before that I was living in El Segundo and driving into Hollywood and going to an office and doing then
Yeah,
Skype interviews, now Zoom
yeah,
interviews, then getting done with that, and then driving from that office in Hollywood back to El Segundo where my children are babies. And then once the pandemic hit, all that went away. It was like, you can do your job from home.
anywhere.
And I
Yeah,
said, guess what? My home is in Hawaii. My kids are going to grow up Hawaiian style. I want to be able to hang out and help my parents as they age. It's a big part of my platform as a politician. But for me to be able to transition and move back home to Hawaii is one of the most magical things in the world that I never expected. But I also feel very, very lucky to be able to do that and still work and still produce, some of the biggest shows that are coming out.
that's
Um,
huge. Yeah,
yeah, it is I guess that's another fantasy of the entertainment industry, and to see how things are progressing in the industry, it is very much up in the air as to how things pan out and how things move. So
yeah. No, I mean, I get it. It's a weird time in the industry, but the whole remote work and work from home. I mean, I just think you get more out of that said employee, producer, when they're not having a commute, 2
absolutely,
hours a day to work, where they can just get up and start doing things or do things at will and still get the job done.
yeah,
And it was proven, like, it's been proven that, you can do this and be productive.
yeah.
And
And
now
it's
they're
funny.
trying.
Yeah,
Go.
I mentioned that drive from
Oh,
from Venice to Hollywood,
oh, that's
folks.
so
That's
far.
That's 12
So,
miles. I don't know where you live in the world or where you're listening to this, but that is 12 miles. If you drive 12 miles where you're going, you could probably get there pretty quick. In Los Angeles, 12 miles is 45 minutes to an hour. So we're
yeah.
talking about 2 hours out of my day of a commute. Whereas now I wake up, I come and sit outside on my pool because I told Donnie my wife steals the air conditioned office that we have. And I get to sit out here and people ironically are like, where'd you download that Zoom background? I'm like, sorry, dude,
Yeah.
this is real. I'm in Hawaii. But yeah, I mean, it is a changing, modernized world, and I love the fact that I'm almost 50 years old and I'm still functioning very well in it. So
Dude, that's
yeah,
awesome. So, so back to casting. I mean, have you? I'm just so like I've done so many weird. I've done a lot of different shows. Like
uh,
like Naked
I
and
think we
Afraid.
I
Let's
think
say.
we all have.
Yeah, we've done some weird. Like there's some that are just not on my resume. But like Naked and Afraid, that's a different type of casting. Like, I mean, have you ever had to do anything? You said some survival things. What
Yeah,
kind of
so
casting and what do you look for and what do
yeah,
you?
I've done a bunch of adventure race shows. And ironically, adventure racers, ultra marathon runners, survivalists, those people have, I mean, they're a little bonkers,
Yeah,
but they have that push and that strain and that hustle and that grit that you want when it comes down to a competition show, because you want that person at the very end of that show that have been fighting through everybody in eliminations and stuff. You want that eye of the tiger mentality. Naked and Afraid is great because they're really putting themselves out there. I'm still blown away that Naked and Afraid has been on for X amount of seasons and you win $0.
Yeah, I was just talking about this last week. Someone we were talking about what I do, and they're like, "Wait, you worked on Naked and Afraid?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I did a few episodes." And they're like, "What? They win a prize, right?" I'm like, "No, they don't win anything. Like just prestige."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's
I don't get it because I was out there and I was fully clothed. I had boots on, and it still sucked ass.
still
I
kick my
can't.
ass,
I
yeah.
still can't imagine being out there barefoot. And then you see them. You see them every day, and they progressively get worse and worse, and their
Mhm.
bodies at the end are just knackered and just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
No,
get it.
so I've done a bunch of survive races. I did Race to Survive Alaska, Race to Survive Ecuador, which was Discovery Channel's a hit race show that they did. You want a fun casting story? I actually this was a great concept that we started working on. Chris Pratt was my boss for this. I can say this because the show never got picked up. But the show was supposed to be called The Drop. Okay, they have these things that are real. They're called survival balls.
Okay.
Millionaires buy these. A survival ball, look it up, Google if you want. It's an 8-foot sphere with a door that holds 2 people. You get inside, and you basically it's got self-contained air. It's fireproof. There's water and food in there. You can get in this thing if your house is in Malibu and the whole place burns down like it did a year and a half ago, and you're in one of these things. Technically, you're supposed to be able to
I see.
survive. Okay.
Okay.
They're basically human escape capsules for anything in the world. So and they're real things. So we the concept was to take. I still don't know why this hasn't been made. Please, somebody go for it. Take 12 of these things, right, and we're teams of 2, 1 team in each one of these balls, okay? And we're gonna stick them in the back of a C-17. So you get into the ball with your partner. We close it. You can't see anything. We're gonna stick all 12 of these balls in the back of a C-17, a big Hercules.
Oh yeah.
And this is an adventure race. It takes off, flies to someplace in the world. So say we leave at Los Angeles and we go down to a desert in Mexico, and we drop all 12 of the balls out of the back of the C-17.
What?
Parachute. They land, and as soon as they land, whoever's in there pops up, and they go, "Oh shit, it's go time!" And then they have to race to an extraction point at point B. Okay. Last team that makes it there loses. They get eliminated. And then the remaining 11 people get back in their balls. Those balls go back into C-17. Then it goes to like Antarctica, and then it goes to like a jungle in Ecuador. So if you think a world traveling adventure race where you have no idea where you are, you don't know what kind of environment you're in. I mean, I love this concept to see it take place and but then to have imagine having adventure racers having no idea what kind of terrain they're going into and popping out of a ball and being like, "Oh, we're on an island, and we have to swim to that island." I mean, it's those kind of crazy concepts that I love it when people come to me and they're like, "All right, go find us a cast." And I'm like,
So
"All right."
Was that just in development, or did you guys?
It was in development, and I think it never got greenlit. It was a fun project to work on.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot. That's a lot of moving parts, especially.
A lot of money to make that a reality, and yeah. So
having to make those spheres. I mean, in theory, don't they have something like that? They have like survival little shacks, or
they have things that are actually like that. You can multi Uber millionaires can buy and stuff, and you're like, it's basically like I don't know if you remember the Harrison Ford president movie. Was it Air Force One?
Air Force Down.
Yeah. It like in Air Force One, there's one of those things where the president's supposed to jump into and it shoots out the back like it's an escape pod from the Death Star or something. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we'll see. But that's the kind of stuff I deal with when it comes to these brand new projects, which I feel like I'm lucky that I get to do, because a lot of times I get shows that nobody's ever heard of before. And the hard part of my job is getting someone on the phone going, "Okay, here's the concept. We're sending you to an island with your fiance and your future mother-in-law, and you have to pick one of them to do some task with." And then it's like, "Okay, how's it?" And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "But you get to win you get to win $250,000 if you pan this out." So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
What about? Let me ask about the crazy fucking people out there that are cast on these shows.
Yeah.
I always thought that there was like some psych eval that they go through. But what happens to the results? I mean, clearly some of the results have to show that they're crazy, yet they push them through.
Yeah, one of my I don't say a bane of my existence, but it is diligence is what we call it, right? You have three steps of diligence. You have a background check, you have a medical check, and you have a psych check. And that is to pertain, and this is my spiel to people when I talk to them. That is to make sure that you are safe when you are on a show with other people. Make sure nobody's going to get hurt, nobody's going to start a fight with somebody. But it's also a way to ascertain that us as a casting company and us as a production company and us as a network are going to put people on the shows that the majority of the world is going to want and love and follow, and not be like, hey, this guy was charged with sexual battery and aggressive stuff 10 years ago, and you're putting him on a show where he's dating these 10 women. Like, what the hell? It's like it is checks and balances to make sure that people are okay to do what they do and to go on these shows. But the crazies do get through, man.
It's fucking
Like,
nuts, man. I
yeah,
mean, you're just like,
the
how did you
crazies get
pass?
through.
I don't know. Some of the crew need to probably take psych evaluations as well, because you get them out there and you're just like, and then they're out and then they get a little alcohol in them too. And then you're like, what the
Like,
fuck is
who
wrong
am
with
I
you?
working with?
Who are you? Where like the
Uh,
Jekyll and Hyde, where they're totally
yeah.
different, and then they're like, what happened? I don't remember anything. My head hurts. It's like, oh my god,
I'm
rookies.
working with a functioning alcoholic on set. And you're
Oh,
like, you're
dude,
holding
I
the
think
camera? What are you
I
doing?
think we all were. I talk about that. I mean, the reason this podcast came about is because of the stupid shit that happened on Top Gear. Part of that stupid shit that happened, not the crazy, stuff behind the scenes that we got to do, is at night, when we were
Once you
wrapped,
guys are done.
yeah, we drank. And,
Yeah.
and we did that a lot. Now
You guys are on location, so it's not like going back home. It's like your hotel room, and yeah.
yeah, and nowadays I'm like, oh my God, no. Shows that I'm on, I'm like, I'm back in my room, like working on this or doing something else, and it's like, no, thank you. I don't know how we did it, how we survived some harsh environments.
Yeah,
Uh,
I had a travel casting where I was all over, all over the South. Like, it was like Southern Texas, East Texas, and the other producer I was traveling with like disappeared for a day. I was like, "Yo, where are you?" Knocking on their door. I'm like, "We're supposed to be going to this event right now." And then they call back, "Sorry," and I never got a direct answer. And I'm like, I'm not gonna rain your parade and get you fired. And like, it's okay, man. We're out here to do the job." Like, what the hell?
I had,
Like, just disappeared. And I'm like, do I call the cops? Like, are you in a swamp someplace with a
oh my
like?
God, dude, that's not, I mean, that's just crazy. You're probably like just on the verge of like hitting 911.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh, dude, I've had I think you just have some weird fucking people. Like drinking on the job,
yeah.
like bad,
hmm
like an empty
I,
bottle
I think
floating around a car.
I think I might know who you're talking about. A couple of people, but
It's nuts. It's like, just stop and
yes. I
and
mean,
save it for
that's
later.
another thing. Yeah, that exactly. Save it for later. Like, there's one of the things I absolutely love, and I tell people about this all the time. Is I started my career as an actor and a stuntman, and then when I transitioned into the production world, one of the things that helped me with that is I knew my production etiquette. I knew when to listen. I
Yeah.
knew when to speak up. I knew when to follow orders, and I knew how to do things professionally. Coming back to Hawaii and getting into politics, one of my big things is this is Hawaii. It's very laid back. I'm bringing that 20 years of experience of working in Los Angeles and getting shit done. And if you send me an email, I'm answering that email right now because that's how we do things professionally.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't happen out here. And I really think that we need to step things up and to be able to, God, to be able to bring a little bit more accountability and professionalism to the world in this little magic island I'm on.
So why don't we transition before we go to switch to channel two? We can talk more about this, but just give me a brief, like, why, like, what happened? Why now? You mean
Yeah.
you're casting, you decide, you know what, I'm fed up. You're one of those people, because there's people in life that have great ideas that and it can be a really good idea, but I forget the stat of how many people don't actually execute that idea. So here you have some great ideas where you're going to get off that couch and you're going to go execute them, and you're going to try
Yeah.
to run for Senate and try to make things better for people in this district. So what made you decide to do this?
First off, like, one of my friends called me a boomerang the other day, and I hadn't heard that term, and it made so much sense that grew up on this tiny island. I left. I had a professional career, and I
Oh,
was able to come back home and live. And it is a very rare thing, you know. But coming back to, I'm literally living in my sleepy little town that I grew up in, which is now like a tourist mecca. It's got one of the number one rated beaches in the world,
dang.
quarter mile that way.
Wow.
And people come from all around the world. So it's changed. It has changed a lot. The magic is still here. It's still Hawaii. There's still aloha. My daughter dances hula. I was wearing leis this morning. It is still Hawaii, and it is changed. It's modernized. But I want to be able to, or one of the things that I'm seeing is that modernization is not being accepted well with the people that live here, the people that grew up here. People are having a hard time adjusting to it, and that's just it's a very old boy theory. It's an old person theory. People get stubborn, so I want to help either transition that or make things better. My platform, one of my slogan I'm running on is Hawaii needs more. We need more accountability. We need more cooperation between the community and the government. And we have two very special terms that we use out here. One is keiki, that's our children, and one is kupuna. Those are our elders. It's my parents, it's your parents, it's our grandfathers. And those two people in between my generation are the ones we have to take care of. And that is a big part, because looking at my children being able to grow up in this magical place that I got to grow up in the same way that I got to grow up in, means the world to me.
That's so
Looking
cool.
at their future and making sure that they can afford to live here when they grow, which is something that, again, I'm a 1% of people that are lucky to be able to do that. I have friends that are still living here, but they're struggling. Um, I want to make sure my kids are being able to be taken care of and to be comfortable and not have to struggle when they get there. But also looking at my parents, where they're at, like both of my parents are in their 80s. They both, I don't want to say that they've lived hard lives, but they've worked very hard all their lives, and they are in an incredible spot where their house is paid off. They have incredible health insurance, and the fact that my wife and I are here to kind of walk them through the hard times that they have is very special to me. And a lot of our elder kapuna, a lot of our elder people out here in Hawaii don't have that, and they are struggling, and they're looking at not being able to live in their homes that they've owned for 30 years because taxes are going up, and there are so many different things that are making it harder for the people that have enjoyed the magic of these islands, for generations. And I need to make that better. That's my big platform. That's one of the big reasons I'm running.
That's so cool. Now, aren't there a lot of, or have been a lot of Hawaiians displaced
Yep.
for affordability and moving to the mainland? Like in Washington State, I think there's a large population.
They
Is that,
call Las Vegas the ninth island.
that's right, Las Vegas too. That's
Yep.
right. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of Hawaiians end up in Las Vegas because it's cheaper to live there. In fact, in the morning when they do the weather report, sometimes they give the ninth island report on what the weather's like in Vegas for everybody who's going to go visit friends and stuff like that. But yeah, priced out of paradise is a very, very volatile and tossed about phrase out here. The people that have grown up here and do not have the luxury to get good educations and high paying jobs. And, the property tax on the house that their parents might have bought in the 80s is now unaffordable for them. And not even that, cost of energy, man. Like I live in one of the most sunniest places in the world. And if you do not have solar energy and a Tesla battery on your house, you're paying $1,000 a month for power.
Jesus.
And that is a direct result of the fires that destroyed Lahaina 2 years ago. Guess what
Wow.
happened with that? Everybody sued HECO, which is the Hawaiian Electric Company, for multi million. I think it was upwards of $1 billion in settlements. And obviously the entire town of Lahaina, if you've ever been or heard of
Yeah,
it,
I've been.
beautiful, wiped out,
Yeah.
completely gone. Like to watch the devastation of
Nuts.
that, it was heartbreaking. But the direct result from that is the power structure in Hawaii has, the power bills. Like if you're directly plugged into the grid and you plug your stuff into the wall and you don't have solar energy powering your house or powering a battery, the price per kilowatt at certain times of the day
Oh,
jumps
it's
up like
probably
30, 40
jumped.
cents. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Like we have it at our house where we got a new system. And thankfully we could afford it. My parents could afford it. And that's another thing. People can't afford these things. But we
Yeah.
put in a new system where, our house is set to basically run off the battery from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night, and that is like the peak time. So when the peak time comes in, everything switches over to the battery, but it's rendering solar. It is very hard to navigate that. And man, I cannot put it into better words. If you are in your 70s and you're trying to figure that out, it's not
not happening. I mean,
not gonna happen.
I know. I was just dealing with a neighbor trying to show her something on her phone. You know, one of those. She already clicked on a link and fell for one of those $5,000 scams.
Yep.
I was like, don't click on anything. Don't click on anything. All right. Well, you guys, everyone, stick around because we're going to switch to channel 2, and Bobby and I are going to have a little more chatter, and we're going to continue this talk about his political ambitions and see where he's going and what he wants to do for District 25 there in his local district. But man, I want to thank you for coming and having some fun and sharing a couple stories with me on Go for Donnie, Bobby. It's always fun to connect, and that's a cool thing about I don't know, friends or true friends, I think.
Yeah, old friends.
It's like old friends where, you know, like we haven't talked in a long time, but you pick up like it was just, you know, yesterday we were up on the roof, you know, playing some cornhole.
Let's go down to the library ale house and grab a beer down in Main Street.
Man, so crazy. But you guys don't forget, once again, this is a video podcast. Please come check it out on my YouTube channel at Go for Donnie, where both Go for Donnie and Switch to Channel 2 live. Come check out my website, gofordonnie.com. You can listen to this podcast, rss.com or Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, Spotify, all of those crazy fun audio podcast platforms. You can check it out. But thanks for listening. And don't forget, Bobby, what my mother-in-law always says. She says, HTFU. Harden the fuck up, mate. And we can talk more about that on Switch to Channel 2. Thanks for coming on, Bobby. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Aloha, guys.
All right. Cheers, man. Aloha.
Production for Donnie.
Go for Donnie. Locations for Donnie. Go for Donnie.
Habitat for Donnie.
Go for Donnie. Hey, Donnie, what the hell are they doing?